Welcome guys to another YouTube video. Today I've actually got something special here that I've been waiting to fish for a little bit now. Something that I've actually been really excited to do a full kind of review on all together. So without it, hey, hang on one moment. There we go. That's more appropriate. Welcome guys, this is the Eurotackle product review. Now if you know me, if you've been following my Instagram, you know that this is one of my favorite lure companies right now, and I'm kind of more known for the big baits right now. Most of my big fish have come off of big baits, obviously. Most of my fishing is focused around swim baits, but I have found last year a company that I'm really excited to just fish with. I'm not paid by them for anything. There's no paid promotions, no advertisements, nothing like that. This is just something that I honestly and truly love. And these have turned into some of my confidence baits, my go-tos. If I just need to get a bite, this is one of the first things I'm throwing out. So let's get into what's in the box. Now I have a couple things here. Now this is only a small selection of just kind of filler things that I needed to get. The majority of it I already have fully set aside. Full tackle supply of them pretty much. So more recently, the one thing that I've actually really come to love fishing with is the bee vibe. Now, something about the bee vibe that personally I love but hate at the same time is I love it because they are small little micro finesse swim baits. Now this particular color is the bluegill color, and more specifically it is bluegill pro. Now there's 8 in a bag for each of these. For the bee vibes, don't worry about it just being 8 to a bag. I literally will use one until it falls apart or until the tail falls off or whatever, so I can get 10, 15, 20 fish. I mean, some of them I've been fishing week after week and they don't fall apart on me. So definitely something, unless I catch like a big bass or a catfish or something like that, obviously that's going to destroy the bait regardless. But this is something that I've absolutely fallen in love with, is the Bee Vibe Micro Finesse swim bait. So cool things with these is they're 2 inches long. They have a couple different ribs on them. So let's get some colors that you can see out as well. Yeah, I've got a whole bag of these. I've got almost one of every color. So the white is probably going to be my absolute favorite one altogether. Yep. So little micro finesse swim bait. It's got the little paddle tail on the end there. Something that's a little unique about these baits is, as opposed to being perfectly round, perfectly circular, they're kind of more oval shape. I don't know how well you can see that, but they're flatter on the top and the bottom and then more rounded on the sides. So that gives you more of a little bit flatter profile. Also gives you a little bit skinnier profile as well here. You've got a couple different ridges along the tail there, as well as the little paddle tail. So these things kick off a little bit of, and that's why I say it's a pro and a con. They're perfect because they're small, micro finessey little things, but it's just that as well. Because they are so small and because they are so micro finesse, you have the issue of not being able to be seen very well. Well, I've also got a solution to that as well. But 2 inches long, little micro finesse swim baits. Now they come in a whole bunch of colors. I always carry a couple packs of white with me. White's my favorite color, absolutely. Chartreuse is another one of my favorite ones here. They've got the bluegill pro. This is just the new one for me. They also come with another color that I actually really like, and it's called the Black High Vis. So this is a black and green laminate color. Surprisingly, in dirty water, this particular color works very well. And I've also got a pink color, which for, again, dirty water, pink is another very high contrast, especially crappie. doing like electric chicken, doing a chartreuse head and the pink body, or vice versa, pink body, chartreuse, or pink head, chartreuse body. Those are both very nice ways, especially like I said, dirty water, stained water, or if you do just need to try to get a bite, something a little bit more reaction. But I'll go back and forth between throwing like white on a white jig head, white and chartreuse, chartreuse and white, the chartreuse and pink. Those are pretty much my go-to colors. With how small these baits are, you don't really need to worry about trying to match the hatch 100%. Because of how small they are, you can get away with throwing an oddball color, electric chicken, or God, who knows. Make up your decisions. They sell like 8 different colors for the B vibe, so you can really mix and match what you want to do. Now, what are you going to rig it on? You're going to rig it on the tungsten micro finesse soft lock heads. Something that's a little unique about their jig heads here is they have what's called the soft lock bait keeper. And what that is, you have a little, it's like a bobber stopper. It's like a bobber stopper or a weight stopper. But it's this black little knob right here, right? That black little bait keeper is what it is. With how finesse, how small and how thin a profile the baits are, you can't really use another jig head without destroying the bait. I've tried on just a couple. I also have the Roadrunner heads for other crappie stuff with a little blade underneath, and you can't fit it all the way up because the other hook keepers get in the way. They mess up the baits, they completely destroy them. And that's the innovation here. Because of this tiny little, actually you can see it better like that, yeah. Because of that tiny little bait keeper, they don't fall off. Like I said earlier, unless you get a good sized bass or a catfish, obviously a catfish is going to destroy just about any soft plastic that it comes in contact with. These are the right sizes, right? Yeah. But that little finesse hook keeper, bait keeper, wonderful. It was probably one of the smartest innovations that they could have come up with. And the bait, or the jig heads, they are a little pricey. They are tungsten though, so do keep that in mind. They are like 99% or 100% pure tungsten, 97% pure tungsten, if I actually read the label before I speak. Premium Eurotackle custom hook, 97% pure tungsten. Couple things that you can do with these, with the B-Vibes, and again, with the soft plastics, they sell a whole bunch of different soft plastics, so you can do for your other bass situations. They sell other little, not micro finesse, but small swim baits. They're like 2.8 and 3.2 inches. I have some. Personally, I just haven't thrown them a whole lot. I feel like it's just one mix of a rest. So if they work for you, they work for you. That's cool. If you need something a little bit smaller than like a Kitech offers, that's something that they offer as well. But with these guys, they come in 4 different colors. So you have the white, you have the pink, you have chartreuse, and you also have black. Personally for me, I don't like doing black jig heads. I just don't really have confidence with it. Something this small, I do want it to stand out a little bit, and having some sort of contrast color really helps me at least feel like I'm actually going to get a bite or so here and there. So as I was saying, you've got the little bait keeper here, you've got the little soft plastics. Now obviously I prefer rigging them normally, so I'm going to have the paddle tail down. They do have a little line that goes down the middle from the process, from the bait making process. So what I like to do is, from just straight out of the package, I'm going to keep that stopper right where it is, and I'm going to just simply thread through. Now with the size 4 hook on these jigs, you don't need to go all the way back. I usually go, there we go. This is a old beat up one, so it doesn't have the cleanest line for re-rigging, but there you go. So you can see that in there, the black little bait keeper on there. The bait itself, it's a perfect little presentation. The baits are so soft, they're so supple, so finessey. They're also pretty durable. I mean, that's a little bit of stretch. I'm not going to actually pull till it breaks, because I have had quite a few of these get ripped off from the tail, more specifically just like right in that last little rib there to the tail. That's usually where I'll have a sunfish just pick it off. It's whatever, you got 8 in a bag and then you catch like 30 fish off of one. It's fine to sacrifice one every once in a while. This is the 1/8 ounce jig head. They also offer 16 and 32nd ounce, and as you can see, I've got quite a collection here. Like I said, the jig heads are a little bit expensive, but you are dealing with almost pure tungsten, so I'm okay with the price point that they're set at. But again, you've got 1/8 ounce, and I have them all individually classified here, because you've got the 1/8 ounce, you've got 16, and then you've got 32nd being the small ones. So for the 1/8 ounce, this is going to be one of my first go-tos if I'm just throwing out really quickly trying to get a bite, seeing if like a shad bite or something. The 1/8 ounce is usually what I'm going to throw first, because I can reel it a little bit quicker and I can get more depth. Say if I actually do need to get below 5 or 6 feet, that's something that I can let this just sink to the bottom, and I can slow roll it on a little spinning rod. It's perfect for that. If I'm fishing a little bit higher in the water column, or maybe I'm going to be reeling it fast but in shallower water, that's when I'm going to be able to throw like the 16th ounce. So you can see the difference there. There's a good size difference. If you're going to pick any of these up, I do recommend getting a full size for them. Get a bag or two of the 16th ounce, get a bag or two of 1/8 ounce, maybe 1 or 2 of the 32nd, depending on if you need 32nd. I've got a video, and I'm going to put that up in the description as well, of me fishing these guys on a float and fly, and I was using the 32nd ounce jig heads for that. So definitely very versatile, because you don't have to just throw them out as is on just their little jig heads. You can do these under little crappie spinners. You can do them float and fly. Float and fly is one of my favorite techniques for that, because you can peg it to like 4 or 5 feet, the depth that you need it to be. Or maybe if it's a little bit later in the year and your fish are down 15, 20 feet, slip float, 1/8 ounce head, get that down, just let it sit there, and then boom, you're absolutely fine. You'll be catching fish all day. And in the video that I did the float and fly, I'm also catching a bunch of catfish in that as well. So throughout this video, I'm going to be posting some of the pictures that I've caught with these. Now, this is not a product that they offer. This is just something that I've been doing more recently. Is I've been making my own like micro spinnerbait blades. So this is just one here, little micro spinnerbait. So I've got a size 1, I think they're both size 1, Colorado and willow leaf. I've got a fast attach on the bottom there, so that way quickly, different size heads, whatnot. But this is also one of my other favorite ways that I've been fishing these baits, is on the spinner. So just like this, just your standard little crappie spinner has been doing absolutely fantastic for me. And they fit perfectly. That's a 16th ounce head. More specifically here, I'm going to be targeting a little bit shallower water, reeling it a little bit slower, a little bit shallower water, so I don't want it to be, I don't want too quick. But that's something else. Gives it a little bit bigger presentation, a little bit more flash, a little bit more vibration, helps fish find the baits a little bit easier, especially if you've got, like in Arizona here, we've got terrible colored water most of the time, and having that little bit of extra flash, it's perfect. All right, next thing I've got up for you is going to be one of my favorite little jerk baits. This is their Z-Spender series of jerk baits. I have never been so pleased by a micro jerkbait before in my entire life. This is the rainbow trout color, and I think this is also probably a good shad imitation as well. It's just a bait fish imitation as well, because you've got the nice light olive kind of shiny green off the top, you've got the silver sides, and then you've got the pink stripe going down the middle. So definitely this is going to be one of my favorite little jerkbaits to use. Along with that, they also offer the Z-Spen in a right size. A couple different colors here. You've got shad, you've got bluegill, there's a clear IU, so it's going to be kind of this orangey, clear, flashy one. They've got the chartreuse. If I'm going to be fishing a little bit dirtier water, or if the fish are a little bit more active, I usually go with the more active colors for the presentation. If I'm fishing clear water, or if I'm trying to do a match the hatch kind of thing, that's obviously when I'm going to throw like the bluegill, the shad. The shad, I can put some pictures up on here as well, but the shad has been my favorite go-to color for, I just want to catch fish really quickly. I want to see if there's anything here. It's perfect. Now, a benefit for something like this, it's really hard to find a micro jerkbait of this size. It pretty much is a perfect 2 inches, but it's almost impossible to find one that suspends. And when I'm talking about suspend, I mean fully. You cast it out, you either crank it down to depth, or you jerk it down, and it stays. I can get these about 2 to 3 feet on my 10-pound braid setup, which is 10-pound straight braid. They go about 4 foot if I put, say, a 5 or 6 foot leader of like a 5-pound fluorocarbon. I can get down a little bit extra foot or so, but they suspend. They perfectly suspend, and within variation of each bait and whatnot, but I've not found one that is either too quick of a rise on the float. None of them sink. I will say that. None of them actually like sink. If anything, they're a slow float. And I don't know about you guys, but I think that's fantastic, because the only other bait that I was ever seen that had the same kind of suspending action like that was discontinued, and I've never seen it again. So this really tickles me that they have an option that I can relive my childhood with. And the colors are, I know the camera really doesn't do it justice, but the colors, they went above and beyond trying to get some of the colors. Now obviously this isn't like a natural shad, but this is still a good overall presentation. You've got the lavenders, the blues, the chartreuses, the orange. They hit it out of the ballpark with this, because I can throw this on a bluegill bite and still catch fish. I can throw this out when they're chasing shad, I can still get fish. I can throw it out when they're doing like just little shiners and whatnot. Yeah, perfect little baits. I don't even know where I'm going to put this one. I don't have anywhere for it. Next up in the arsenal that I have here, I have the Z-Vibes. Now I've got a couple different sizes of these. These are, why am I getting a phone call? These are, these particular ones, they're the 1/8 ounce little, but they're lipless. Again, they're little micro finesse. I mean, that is tiny. I've got some of the other lipless as well. I've got them in the 3/8. I think they're 3/8 ounce. But I've got a couple of these. This is the 1/8 ounce, and then there's a 3 ounce, like I said, I believe. I've caught bass, catfish on those. These little guys I do like to vertical jig. Now most of the baits do come with little clips on them. I personally took them all off. I have my own clips that I use. I'm not really confident with those ones. They do look a little flimsy, so I use my own clips that are size 0 for that. The hooks, however, the hooks on the split rings are surprisingly very durable. And the same thing with the soft block jig heads. They're surprisingly very durable, very strong. I've caught quite a few catfish with these already. I've caught quite a few bass. I had one snagged in a tree at Roosevelt and pulled the tree limb out of the ground, and the hook didn't even bend. So Eurotackle, you have fantastic little hooks on these baits. Same bait options here, and of course they've got other bait options available online. I'll let you guys look at all that, but I love these little guys, especially if you're like a crappie or a panfish fisherman and you like to do a little bit more of the vertical options. They also have a smaller option which just has one single hook coming off the back. That is another good presentation for if you are doing vertical fishing, ice fishing, anything like that. Just drop it down. They don't really give you a whole lot of vibration, so these would be something more that I would stick to, like your Castmasters and whatnot. I would just do vertical jigs with these guys, or if you are on a very small bite and you know you're going to get hit with one of these, doing either really quickly or yo-yoing it off the bottom, I would throw one of those. But otherwise, if you need a lipless bite, I would actually do the upsized ones there for you. Alright, another bait that I've got for you guys that they offer, again, it's in their Z series of baits, hard plastics, is going to be the Z Crank. Now, these are micro crankbaits. Something I like about these is they are very fat, they're very round, so they're going to wobble quite a bit. Unlike the Z-Spend, like I said, I can only get down maybe 4 foot on a fluorocarbon leader, maybe 3 feet at max. These go 4 to 6 feet on average, and that's just on a straight braid. If I put fluorocarbon, I probably could get these down to about 7 foot. Just with any crankbait, do be careful because some of them coming right out of the package can be a little bit off. Unfortunately, I can't really fish the shad one too much because it is wildly off in the presentation. The line guide there is so small that it's not really efficient to try to bend it, so that way it actually runs straight and true. But if you do have small enough options here, go ahead and fix them up. For the crankbaits, I love the crankbaits to help get them down a little bit deeper, especially when you got fish that are starting to target a little bit deeper. Springtime, the shorelines, when you've got your bass, your crappie, your sunfish, they're starting to push in for their own spawn. I love throwing these little guys out, banging them off the rocks and whatnot. Like I said though, just like a crankbait, it's kind of hard to tune these if you do get one that's a little bit out of whack. I find just on a standard spinning rod, just reel them kind of slow, figure it out, get one out of the box and see how fast it reels, and then just go from there. Same thing with these, they come with a bunch of really nice colors as well that I like. This one, I forget, it's like the green natural or something. It's kind of a unique color because it's not like a shady color, but it is like a natural kind of bait fish color. But again, if you want any of the baits and anything, I'll put it in the description below. It's Eurotackle.net. So if you've got any questions, obviously you can put them in the comments below and I'll get to them when I can. I'll put my Instagram below as well, so if you want to, you can DM me on Instagram. But as I said, I'm also going to put the pictures throughout here that I've caught of the fish. I've got the other link for the other video that I was doing with float and fly. That's another technique that I think is really good for the bee vibe specifically. Now the baits that I've also featured today, these are the ones that I throw like 100% of the time. If I'm going to try to catch a fish, that's what I'm throwing these on. So they've got an entire website dedicated for all your micro finesse stuff. They've got bass stuff, they've got little flipping jigs, they've got the little trailers for those, they've got other small swim baits, but actual swim baits, not just finesse swim baits. They've got cool shirts. They've got a little bit of everything, so if you are kind of a panfish, yellow bass, crappie, sunfish kind of angler, this is going to be the perfect website for you. And not to say that this is only made for your little crappies and things like that. I've caught some good sized bass, I've caught good sized yellow bass, good crappie, catfish. I'm pretty sure trout will eat these. This is the middle of summer for me. This is the dog days of summer for me. So I don't really have anything that's good for trout, and then up north is just absolutely terrible because everyone's up there fishing. But I don't know why these wouldn't work for trout, especially the little jerkbaits. Just crank them in, reel them. You can reel them as fast as you want, and they do not go off center. That's something I love about the little Z-Spends, is you cannot make them swim fast enough to start rolling and blowing out. They always track true. So fantastic little baits. I love that they suspend. The Z cranks, what I like about those, like I said, they're good. They're a deeper diver than crankbait. They do float as well. So it's kind of depending on the bait. Some of them are slow float, some of them are a little bit quick. But that is another good thing for a crankbait, because if you are bumping bottom, you get stuck every once in a while, give it some slack, let the bait rise up, and you're good to go. If you have any other questions, comments, concerns, go ahead, put them in the comment section down below. I'll try to answer them when I can. Otherwise, like I said, just get to me on Instagram. And any of the baits that you want, go ahead, go to Eurotackle.net. Pick them up. Even with quarantine right now, COVID-19, I ordered this stuff like Wednesday last week, and it's Monday, and it got here today. So it gives you 3 to 7 days, it says, for the standard shipping, and it still shows up in 3 to 7 days, including a weekend. So right, it took like 4 days to get here from Connecticut to Arizona. It's fantastic customer service here. If you have anything, if they mess up an order for you or something goes wrong, you can just message them back. They usually get back to you in about a day, but they do fulfill, they do fulfill what they need to get done. So thanks for sticking around, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you guys like the products here. I really do. I love the bass I catch with them. Big crappie, yellow bass, and a couple lakes I didn't even know existed I'm starting to catch with these things. And the jig heads as well. You don't have to use the jig heads just specifically for the Eurotackle stuff. However, I would only use the Eurotackle soft plastics with their jig heads. They're made specifically for them and they hold the best. But you can also put these on any of the soft plastics that you want as well. But thanks for watching, guys. Enjoy the rest of your day, night, whatever it is. I'll catch you in the next one.